Hey guys, Ragnar54 here, and welcome back to another RuneScape video. Today I want to touch on a specific but important part of the fight as a meleeer, and that's starting. This is something that I've noticed is kind of a differentiating factor between people who do well on their mocks or real trials and people who struggle. I've linked to my P1 guide in the description below, but along with power creep, the trial team speeds have gotten to the point where you're definitely not going to get away with 3.6 second zerking anymore. You might be able to get away with 1.8 if like Madfire's on your team or something, but for the most part, you're going to need to 0.6 Zerk on your mock or your trial. Phase 1 is one of the easiest and most consistent parts of the fight because nothing is really going to change that much. So as a tri-elite, you really need to be sure to be getting as much damage as you can on this phase because obviously the other phases are going to be a lot harder. So you really want P1 to be that thing that you're really comfortable with, and if all else fails, you're at least getting your full damage from there. Alright, so let's jump into it. 1.8 Zerking, as I said, is going to be less common, but you might be able to get away with it. This is pretty simple, and as I said, I covered it in my P1 guide, but essentially, as you enter the room after you DBA, whether or not you go hub, it doesn't really matter, but as you're attacking the southern dummy, waiting for the base to start, just wait until you see the base turn toward that ball of flowing energy in the middle. As they do that, click away and stop attacking the dummy, and then Zerk after 1 second or just before 2 seconds. You can record yourself and make sure your Zerk is actually going off right before that timer turns to a 2. You don't want to stay attacking the dummy after the base starts the kill at all, because it may reduce the damage you get from your barge as your first ability, and it may even not give you the Greater Barge bleed effect. You also don't want to get off the dummy too early before the base starts, because if you wait around 10 seconds, then you're likely not going to get a dren from your barge. Okay, so onto the 0.6 Zerking, which is a lot more common in these faster teams. The naming on this one is a bit controversial because you get a different number if you count down from 1 or up from 0 in terms of counting ticks. For whatever reason, the first second of the AOD fight lasts 1 tick too long, so when that timer starts, it doesn't actually start going until 1 tick after it appears. So if you were counting down from 1 second, then you might call this a 0.0 second Zerk, but the generally accepted name for this is a 0.6 second Zerk, and that's referencing after the timer appears, even though it's not technically going yet. 1 tick after that timer appears is when you need to Zerk. Naturally, this is a lot harder than the 1.8 second Zerk because you can't really rely on the timer too much, because you need to be inputting your Zerk pretty much as that timer appears so that it comes out on the next tick. This is where your base can come in handy, so if they do an ability or something, or some standard set of actions they do every kill before they start the kill, this can really help you to time this Zerk. Most bases will do one ability, like a Freedom or a Reprisal, as they turn toward the flowing energy to start the kill. And as a West Coast player who usually has to play on East Coast or EU Worlds, and just generally with the state of the RuneScape servers, this is when I input my Zerk. And then if I've got about 1 to 200 ping, that makes my Zerk get actually inputted according to the game right after the kill is started, and that means that it'll go through on the next tick, which is the tick you want it to go through on. Now, this can be kind of hard to get used to, especially if it's a mock or a real trial and you don't know the base tank very well. So what I'd recommend doing is the first couple of kills, maybe 2 or 3, or as few as you can, just try to get used to what they do to start the kill, and just press your Zerk as soon as you see the kill starting, and it's not a super big deal if you don't get it tick perfect. And then as you get more used to their starts, you can try to get it tick perfect to get that extra damage on P1. Alright, so that's how you 0.6 Zerk. From there, you just do your 2 defensives, wait another 2 ticks, and then barge and start the rotation that I'm sure you've already seen a lot. And that's really all you need to know as a tri-elite just trying to pass. If you want to optimize this a little bit further, then I'd recommend getting off the dummy as you notice the Chin is about to disassemble the dummy if they're the one hosting, and then equipping your 2H and getting ready to click on the dummy as you Zerk. This will give you a nice 3% adren, and it won't affect your barge damage. So it's a nice way to get a little bit extra adren, because there are cases where if you don't get any impatient procs, you can be kind of unlucky on adrenaline and not be able to stall your flurry on P2. This doesn't make a huge difference though, so if you're not super familiar with 0.6 Zerking already, then I really wouldn't recommend trying to do this on your trial and messing something up. Alright, so that's it. That's what you need to know going into your trial as a meleeer about starting the kill. Again, it's really important to do this because if you Zerk late P1, you're Zerking late on P3, and then last 600k, and everything's just kind of a domino effect, and as soon as you get behind, it's really easy to get flustered and lose a bunch of damage. I definitely recommend practicing this in a mock or something if you're thinking about trialing and you haven't gotten the chance to get any experience with 0.6 Zerking before. If I've missed anything in this video or you have more questions, feel free to leave a comment. Leave a like if you enjoyed this type of video. I'm planning to make some more of these how to pass your melee trial videos. So until next time, I will see you guys later. Bye.